undergoing training with several hundred Border Patrol agents, and you're going to see us redeploy to it could be a New York, it could be a Chicago, it could be a Charlotte.
Okay, you heard it straight from Chief Bovino. There are several hundred Border Patrol agents who are preparing for a deployment. Now it could be to New York, it could be to Chicago, but I think it's safe to say it will be to Charlotte, North Carolina.
Sheriff Gary McFadden tells us that he has confirmed through 2 different federal agencies that Border Patrol agents are coming to Charlotte.
And who is Sheriff McFadden? Well, he's the sheriff for Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, here's something people are not realizing. Charlotte is beyond this 100-mile border enforcement zone, and that does change things, so we're going to talk about how that will impact the mission within Charlotte. So we have a lot to cover. Now, before we start the video, make sure to please like the video. It's the #1 way you guys are helping this channel, and it also helps others see the videos as well. And look, I make the videos, but I do need your help to get them out there, and I think people want to know what's going to happen in Charlotte or what we can expect, because this is a very unique mission.
I'm actually in West Virginia now, undergoing training with several hundred Border Patrol agents, and you're going to see us redeploy to it could be a New York, it could be a Chicago, it could be a Charlotte.
Okay, so 2 things to point out. #1, Chief Bovino has left Chicago, so that is confirmed. #2, Chief Bovino is teasing another deployment very soon. It could be New York City, it could be Chicago, it could be Charlotte, North Carolina.
This is Joe Bruno from Channel 9. There are a lot of rumors right now about Border Patrol coming to Charlotte. I have some confirmed information. Sheriff Gary McFadden tells us that he has confirmed through 2 different federal agencies that Border Patrol agents are coming to Charlotte. They will be here as soon as Saturday, but they also may get here next week. Congressman Ralph Norman tells me that this operation that they'll be conducting is focused on known criminal targets, but he also says that the agents aren't going to turn a blind eye to anybody else they encounter.
Okay, I hope you caught that. Focusing on known criminal targets. Now, this right here is why the mission is going to be a lot different than what we saw over in Chicago. And here's a big reason why. This is where we get into the 100-mile border enforcement zone. Basically, the United States has determined that there is a 100-mile border zone in which Border Patrol can operate a certain way. Basically, they have a lot more leeway to do their job as far as setting up checkpoints, asking the questions they want to ask, probe to see if you are an illegal immigrant. They have a lot more leeway inside of this zone. In fact, you can even go straight to the Border Patrol website, and it talks about working inside of this 100-mile zone. Border Patrol agents, they can ask who you are, they can arrest you without a warrant, they can set up these checkpoints, they can do a lot more than people realize, and that's why we saw in Chicago how Border Patrol was able to just do these broad sweeps and conduct all of these arrests, conduct all of these operations, because Chicago is within this 100-mile zone. But Charlotte, North Carolina is not within this 100-mile zone. So how is Border Patrol going to do these broad sweeps? How are they going to set up checkpoints? Well, it's not like Border Patrol is going to be handcuffed and they can't do their job. No, they're just going to follow the standards already put in place. And like you already heard, it looks like these are going to be targeted operations, which means if it's a targeted operation, you already have the evidence that somebody is a criminal, you already have these warrants, and that's a lot different than like we saw in Chicago. In Charlotte, it's going to be a way more targeted operation, and Border Patrol has to be a little more careful with how they operate. They don't have the leeway they have within these 100-mile zones, but they're still going to get the mission done. Okay, so here's what the governor has to say.
Governor, just want to ask you, how are you responding to recent reports saying that CBP is choosing Charlotte to come to next?
Yeah, we've seen the same reports as everyone else. Of course, we've reached out to the White House. We haven't heard back, so at this point, we just don't know for certain. Everyone in this community deserves to be safe, to feel safe, and we are committed to working with the city to ensure that people are safe.
Do those scenes in Chicago concern you that they could possibly be recreated in Charlotte?
Yeah, if we had absolute confidence that ICE was going to come here and they were going to go and find violent, dangerous drug traffickers and criminals and be targeted in their work, the city would welcome them with open arms.
Okay, so this is already happening, and this is the angle I was really focusing on with Chicago. What are the politicians saying? What are the lawmakers saying? We are already seeing well, we don't know if it's going to be safe. We don't know if they're going to terrorize the city. I will even show you a statement from another lawmaker implying this fear that's coming. And we saw what happened in Chicago, and the Trump administration immediately called it out. Hey, the lawmakers are creating this environment of fear, and then the voters to the lawmakers are like, yeah, this is not good. And then we saw these convoys and pushback and the whistles and the attacks on federal agents. So I'm just trying to show you guys, federal agents are not even in Charlotte yet, and we are seeing this. Well, I'm kind of afraid. I don't know what's going to happen. Leave your comments down below. Again, Border Patrol is there to make sure U.S. citizens are safe, and we're seeing this notion of we don't know if it's going to be safe or not.
Almost certain of that. We haven't heard from them, so we don't know what their plans are. But we have seen instances where ICE has gone after American citizens and detained them for up to days at a time. We've seen them assault senior people. We've seen them go after people who were peacefully protesting. Wow. This is not how policing is supposed to happen in this country.
I would love to know when he says peaceful protest, if he's referring to Portland. I would love for him to watch some of my videos and the clips if he's talking about Chicago. I don't know what he's referring to as the peaceful protesting, but I would love to know exactly what he's referencing with these peaceful protests.
Country, wearing masks.
Where ICE was going after peaceful protesters.
No identification. So we don't know what their plans are here.
I'm sorry, I don't want to keep cutting this off, but I hope you're hearing this. This is like the generic talking points. They're wearing the masks. They're going after American citizens. This is a common pattern we keep hearing with a lot of these Democrat leaders. Now, I do want to point out, Charlotte is not a sanctuary city, and that's where this makes this mission even more unique, because there's not as much pushback, and there can't be as much pushback from the local law enforcement. So that's going to be interesting to see as well.
For Charlotte, if they come in and they are targeted in what they do, we will thank them. If they come in and wreak havoc and cause chaos and fear, we will be very concerned.
Have there been discussions about any kind of legal options you may be able to take to prevent Border Patrol from coming in?
Well, Border Patrol has the right to go. They have national jurisdiction. So.
Okay, I will give credit to this governor. He's actually giving out facts and not creating this fake safe haven that sanctuary cities have told their people, hey, we're going to be fine, we're a sanctuary city, when it turns out, like this governor said, well, actually, they have a pretty big jurisdiction, which is why I make my videos, is to call this stuff out. So, I want to give credit where credit is due. This governor is at least telling the truth. Well, they can come into the city, and there's nothing we can do about it. So, I'm glad he said that.
There's nothing that the state could do, even if we were want to stop them from coming. So at this point, we're just going to have to see what their plans are. Obviously, we want to hear from them what their plans are so that we can plan accordingly.
And real quick, before we continue, make sure to please subscribe to my channel so I can keep you up to date with this story. And if you see the QR code, just use your cell phone if you're watching TV, scan the QR code. It's a lot easier for you guys to subscribe that way. Thank you guys so much. Okay, so check this out. This is Representative Alma S. Adams. Here's what she had to say. I am extremely concerned about the deployment of U.S. Border Patrol and ICE agents to Charlotte. Charlotte's immigrant community is a proud part of the Queen City, and I will not stand by and watch my constituents be intimidated or harassed. Everyone deserves to be treated with dignity, and what we have seen Border Patrol and ICE agents do in places like Chicago and Los Angeles, using excessive force in their operations and tear gassing peaceful protesters. So, like I'm trying to say, we are already seeing the seeds being planted. You have lawmakers already implying, look, this is going to be bad. They're going to start terrorizing people without the full context. And yes, I know you all saw it, the Charlotte immigrant community. You know, even within the United States, the Constitution, within the judicial system, we have a distinction between legal immigrants and illegal immigrants. That's within U.S. policy. So when you have a representative who just says immigrant community, that creates a lot of confusion for people, implying that everyone is going to get deported or everyone's going to be in fear and danger, and that's just simply not the case. And legally speaking, that can't be the case either.
Chicago, it could be a Charlotte. But one thing that's going to happen is Governor Pritzker is going to see a lot more immigration enforcement, Title 8, by Border Patrol ICE and those allied teams, you can guarantee it.
So you just mentioned Charlotte, and we got this news release from the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office, which says Mecklenburg County Sheriff Jerry L. McFadden was contacted by 2 separate federal officials confirming that U.S. Customs and Border Protection personnel will be arriving in the Charlotte area as early as this Saturday or the beginning of next week. A lot of speculation that you'll be heading.
I'm laughing because Bovino's face when he said that, he kind of squinted and he's probably like, who leaked that information? Because look, Chief Bovino, he's super popular, everyone knows who he is, but he's not like the head of Border Patrol. Now, obviously, it looks like he has a very special position in Border Patrol, but he's not in a position to be giving out that information. From the research I've done, he is in a prominent position, more so in the field commander spot, being on the front lines. But as far as these administrative roles, like PR roles and giving out information, that's not his job. So I think that's why he was kind of like, how did you know that?
Setting up that mission. True or untrue?
Sure. John, like I said, we're undergoing training here.
He can't say. I mean, he would be in so much trouble right now on Fox News if he said, yes, we're coming to Charlotte. Very big trouble. So he's obviously not going to say anything.
In West Virginia, this is quarterly training that we have to conduct.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, you could see us in a New York, you could see us in a Cleveland, you could see us in a Chicago, you could see us in a Charlotte. But rest assured, the Title 8 mission is going to continue wherever you see us.
Well, you can't deny that the crime rates are coming down since Operation Midway Blitz started. The numbers speak for themselves. You've got homicides, shootings, robberies down double digits. And these are being reported by the city of Chicago, Greg. And you're pulling some of the worst off the streets. We've got their mugshots. And we appreciate you coming on with the updates, sir.
Now, I also do want to point out Greg Bovino is wearing a body camera, so I wonder if he filmed this interview from his perspective. But again, in all reality, Chief Bovino teasing New York City and Chicago, it literally can't happen. They just don't have the manpower, and also the courts are not in their favor. Like we saw over in Chicago, it's a complete disaster to go into that city and try to do these federal surges, try to send in federal agents. There is so much pushback. We saw in Chicago with just 200 federal agents. Now imagine some sort of federal surge and more Border Patrol. We're going to see a lot more pushback, and I really don't think the Trump administration wants that to happen, which is why in Memphis, everything is going smooth. There's no pushback. Right now in Nashville, people don't even realize there is a Homeland Security task force who's basically trying to do the same thing we're seeing over in Memphis. Now, it's not like a massive federal surge in Nashville, but there's no pushback. The Trump administration loves no pushback because it is a headache to fight in court, and also it's not the greatest PR look for the Trump administration. Okay, so from here, I thought you'd find this interesting. Now, I really try to find the perspective of the everyday American. What do they feel about these operations? But some people are saying this person may have gone a little too far.
I have an update on the icy conditions here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I'm going to tell you all the roads that have been super icy today.
Yeah, so I think you know where this is going. This person is about to talk about where ICE has been operating and what they're doing. And one thing we know when we look into like Operation Midway Blitz or stuff over in Los Angeles, over in Portland, a lot of times clips like this start to pop up and more clips start to pop up depending on how much ICE activity or Border Patrol activity is in your area. So I do expect a lot more clips like we're about to see.
I-85 near North Tryon exit, South Boulevard close to Westinghouse. A lot of South Boulevard, if you're familiar with South Boulevard, it's very icy, kind of where the car dealerships and the little strip mall restaurants are over there. Pineville near Atrium. Also Pineville near the Cookout, the Home Depot.
I mean, she's giving like very, very specific information here.
And a little bit further up from the Home Depot if you're heading towards like where the Pop Shelf is. So all of that Pineville Matthews Road there. Also North Tryon and Atondo Avenue. I'm sorry if I didn't say that correctly. North Tryon and Atondo Avenue, where the new luxury apartments are being built on the corner. Charlotte Immigration Court, of course, they were there today. Super icy. And Central Avenue in East.
And I know what you're all asking, how does she have this information? Well, there could be several different factors. I mean, there could be ICE trackers, there could be ICE reporting groups on Facebook. There is already a massive website that does stuff like this. So again, I do expect we're probably going to be seeing a lot more clips like this if Border Patrol is going to be open and operating throughout Charlotte. We'll just have to wait and see, so make sure to please subscribe to my channel because I will keep you up to date with clips just like this. Okay, so recently, ICE's deputy director actually had this speech talking about what's happening in Florida and how Florida is becoming the model in which ICE will be operating, and that also includes other federal agencies. And again, this gives us some insight into what we can expect, because another common pattern with the Trump administration, if something works, then you do that thing 10 times over, because if it works, it's got to work on a larger scale. Check this out.
Florida really is the model for the rest of the country for us to be able to conduct 287G enforcement. Throughout the state of Florida, we have over 335 agreements to be able to do 287G through our task force model, which gives some of these local officers immigration authority to be able to go out and effectuate change in their communities.
These are partnership programs. That's what she's talking about.
And truly put the American people first. So I wanted to give you a quick timeline of what we've been able to do here in the state of Florida. Months ago, we started with Operation Tidal Wave, being able to have the largest 287G arrests in the country, of over 1,000 arrests in just 1 week.
Yep.
We've then been able to open Alligator Alcatraz and the other facilities around the state. We've had multiple 287G ops that have proved to be very successful. We've been able to do CDL operations that we've been able to use that model nationwide.
Yep.
And now we have this one. And today, as Secretary Noem coined it just yesterday, Operation Dirtbag, to go after people who have attacked children in our community.
I did not know it was called that. Not a bad name.
In just 10 days, we've been able to remove, in partnership with the state of Florida, over 230 of the worst heinous criminals from their streets.
So again, like you heard from the deputy director, this is a model that they pretty much want to try and use throughout the United States. I mean, they're already doing it with the CDL detentions or looking into drivers who are not supposed to be drivers on our roads. But I also want to point out, this is a huge move from the Trump administration to ask sanctuary states, hey, why would you not want to partner with us if we are saving children? Just partner with us. Again, a lot of this has to do with the narrative, and one thing the Trump administration always does, they make sure something works on a smaller scale and they try to grow it and grow it. Like we saw with Washington, D.C., that was the model in which federal agencies are going to operate together and search cities. And again, we keep seeing these little micro missions like we're seeing in Chicago, over in Charlotte, and eventually they turn into broader missions. So this again is another indication of what direction ICE is trying to go in as far as partnerships with local communities or local law agencies. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, the intentions behind my videos is to try and have a peaceful dialogue and try to have some peace in this country. Thank you guys so much for everything. Again, make sure to please subscribe, make sure to please like the video, and make sure to please pray for peace. We do need that right now. Thank you for everything. God bless, and we'll see you all later.